with them. Introduce yourselves and tell us what your prime directive is.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Wildbear, and my prime directive.
Yeah, what is your medicine for the planet? What is your specialty?
I would say, well, in this moment, what's coming to me is my love of the natural world and desire to bring people into closer relationship with the natural world, conversation, personal relationship, and therefore a sacred relationship that also protects the natural world, and also help people in human development and initiation to move into being mature adults and elders so that we can all live in a better way with the earth and with each other.
That's through teaching the children also?
It's through, I have worked with children in the past, but I've primarily been trained in working with individuals in transformation, so supporting them and opening to the conversation with the natural world, their dreams, their deep imagination, living their purpose in the world, their mythopoetics, opening back up to their body, to being able to grieve and to feel and to be wild again, connect to the wild roots and make their deepest alliance with the natural world and belonging. How
about mythopoetics?
Yeah, that's a word that originally comes from a poem by Tolkien. And it's kind of about our ability to see our life through, he uses the term elfish eyes or creative eyes, but to see our purpose in the way, to see our purpose in life in an artistic myth-making poem kind of way. So in other words, our purpose isn't necessarily a one role or job that we might take, but it's the way that we interact with everything all the time. And that each of us, like a snowflake, have a particular myth or poem, and that we listen to our dreams and have conversations with the land and open to the visions that might come to kind of tune into what that is.
Sort of like our own unique DNA.
Yeah, exactly.
Fantastic. And what was your name again?
It's Rebecca Wildbear.
And where can people find your online source where they can get some information from you?
Probably my website, RebeccaWildbear.com.
Oh, fantastic.
Also on the website with Animas Valley Institute, which is where I'm a guide to.
Animas?
Animas Valley Institute.
How do you spell Animas?
Animas, ANIMAS, and their website, animas.org.
Fantastic. And we're here with Charles Eisenstein. People have been really excited to have you come to Port Townsend and to be part of the Global Earth Conference. Are you excited about the first Global Earth Repair Conference?
I'm very happy to be here. I'm happy that there's a conference on this topic because I think that this is where our emphasis, especially in the environmental movement, really needs to go.
And what is your, all I can think of is your prime directive and your medicine for the planet. What's your specialty right now? And what is making you proud to be doing what you're doing? What's your favorite project?
Well, the overarching theme of my work is to serve a transition in the stories and myths of the dominant culture, or the one that seems dominant on this planet. And so that can take different forms when applied to different topics. So right now, a lot of my work has been applying that transitional impulse and frame to climate change and environmentalism in general. And yeah, that's what a lot of my work has been.
And I heard, they were saying that you have a new book out. Can you explain your new book a little bit to us?
It's called Climate, A New Story. I almost didn't want to name it. In fact, I didn't want to name it with anything that said climate in the title, because people said, oh, I saw your article online. I almost didn't read it because it had climate, and I already know what it's going to say if it has climate in it. And so I thought, okay, if I'm going to write about climate, I better somehow signal that this is a very different approach to the question.
Climate, the new story.
A new story.
A new story.
Yeah, I wouldn't presume to call it the new story.
It's your interpretation.
It's a different and to most people unfamiliar framing of the issue of climate change. As the main lens is the living Earth. I call it the living Earth paradigm, or the living Earth view that understands this planet as alive.
That's my phone. But at least we get his.
Yeah, that understands the planet as a living being. So if, I guess the core theme of it is that this Earth is alive and that its organs and tissues are the forests and the wetlands and the whales and the elephants and the beavers, the wolves, the soil, the water, the wind even. These are all living beings. So to focus our attention on just greenhouse gases is a kind of reductionism that sits very comfortably in the conventional way of doing things, where you find a number to reduce or to increase. That's financial thinking, and it is consonant with the with scientific reductionism, with the whole idea that nature and life and matter and love can someday somehow be explained with mathematics. So I want to offer an alternative to what I call carbon accountancy that values the beings of this earth beyond their economic value and also beyond their carbon value.
So bring John Robbins and the emotional aspects of the planet. Kind of. The animals. John Robbins writes about the animals and their
right.
and how they're being treated, and you were stating about the massive animals and trees are the bloodline.
Right, but it's not just animals. It would be soil.
For trees and soil, yeah.
Yeah, to understand soil as a living being, maybe even a conscious being that can receive love and is worthy of love. And that is part of a global physiology. Today, conventionally, it's only valued for its economic output. But even the mainstream climate movement values it, at least in the policy discourse, values it for the carbon that it stores or that it can sequester. And what I'm saying is that if you reduce the value of a living being or a living system to any number, whether it's an economic number or a carbon number, you are still committing a kind of reductionism that will always undervalue it, because the value of a living being is infinite. And we have to base our policies and decisions not on a finite number, but on love for a sacred being. And we don't know. Like, it's not easy to put a carbon number on a salmon, for example, or on the species of the salmon. Like, they don't sequester very much carbon. It's only when you understand ecology and how they, for example, one of the many things they do is to bring nutrients, minerals and things from the ocean deep inland, where they then get distributed through the bears and the eagles that eat the salmon. They get distributed into the forest and contribute to forest resiliency, because the forest needs these nitrogen and
That's
iron.
how they compost.
Yeah, they like the salmon they're part of forest health. So then you don't have the salmon anymore, and the forest becomes susceptible to forest fires. And it's not just the salmon, of course, it's the beavers, it's the bears. All of these species are part of a healthy forest. And then there's a forest fire, and you blame that on carbon emissions. So I'm not saying carbon emissions might not be a factor here, but by reducing environmentalism to a matter of this thing that we can count, how convenient is that when we are so used to counting things? By doing that, we're leaving a lot out of the picture. In the end, we're going to be leaving the same beings out of the picture that are already left out of the picture. And we need to bring them in. And the only way to do that is to understand that they are sacred beings and that they are part of a living being that includes us as well.
So everybody, dirt is a being. It's our biosphere. It's alive, and it's the planet that we're talking about here at Global Earth Repair Conference. Don't you forget it. And we're really blessed to have these two wonderful people here. Any final words?
I agree with what you're talking about, and the planet is sacred, and that's something that I'm glad to be here about as well. Thanks.
And any final words?
No, I think I probably already said too much.
No, you're doing great, and just everyone's so excited, and we're honored to have you here. And we'd love for you to come see Galen's film. But
I would like to ask a question of when did you, because this is my view of the planet as well, and I would like to know when it started for you. How old were you as a child, and how did it develop in that way?
okay, so we have a question from Galen here, and it's when you were a child, what was your aha moment?
Well, I think all children already know this. They intuitively relate to other beings as beings. And they don't think it's silly if you say, what does the sun think right now? That's not a nonsense question to a child. But like most people in my culture, that intuition was nearly extinguished. And I didn't know what was missing in the cardboard world that resulted from that extinction. But I knew something was missing. And when I began to have experiences that reignited that knowledge, I felt like I was returning home. Mm-hmm. So I can't say that it was one experience that brought me back. But it came from never really letting go of my discomfort.
Fantastic. Thank you both for doing planet work and for staying strong and brave and on the front lines, but safe and good. Drive safely, navigate safely, and keep spreading the word. We are winning. There's more people that do yoga now, more people that eat plant-based food. Thank you for helping us at Global Earth Conference to start the push to make our voice louder for the planet so they can hear us. I'm so happy to be with you both.
Thank you. I just want to kind of bring what you shared together about the state of people's consciousness and the situation of the planet. And when those two things can be brought together, that we transform ourselves to meet the challenges that we're here to meet, that's a good combination.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay, here we go. Thank you.